All know we should be posting on social media more, but what should we be posting? I've got some good news for you. I have taken and I've aggregated the best 5 ideas that I've seen and some examples from other agents of exactly what they're posting that is getting great engagement now so that you can apply them in your business. My favorite one is number 5, so stick around and let's get to it. There's never been an easier time for you to build a personal brand, to be able to connect with your clients for free more than there is right now in utilizing social media. But the key is to know exactly what it is that you can do to have the biggest impact. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to get to you exactly the 5 specific types of posts that I'm seeing have the biggest engagement across real estate. I'm going to show you some examples of these. And what I want you to really do is let this get your creative juices flowing. Let this give you an idea of some things that you can do that will create the engagement you're looking for. So let's start with this. And the first is that you have to understand that when someone comes to your social media, I'm going to use Instagram in this case, when they come and they look at your grid, what they're looking at is basically your resume. This is where we talk about having your bio correct, but what is it that you're actually pinning to the top? You know, you have the ability to pin something to the top. And the first thing that I would suggest is the About Me post. So a couple things I want to do is I want to show you an example of a post like this where you can see exactly how this is done really well. The first example I'm going to use is Katie Day. Katie did this actually where she utilized something where she was going in and she was, instead of just doing a video and talking about herself, she used a carousel, which is doing extremely well right now. So I'm going to show you this. I'm going to kind of flip through a few of these and then I'm going to give you some ideas on this. All right, so the first thing you'll notice is when we come to this is she has a hello page, and you'll notice she has moving letters on that. Then when they flip to the next slide, it tells about who she is, where she's located. Then she goes to the next slide, she talks about her team. She also then talks about how they can help specific buyers, specific sellers, and what they can do to help them. All right, next up for an About Me video. This is actually a video version of this. This is Bridgett Baldwin out of Tucson, Arizona. What Bridgett does is she kind of shows her own personality. This is another example of being authentically who you are. You'll notice that she uses some of the motion. She talks and puts blurbs up. So let's take a look at this. Now this goes on and kind of gives a few more details, but what you see here is you see her personality. You see exactly who she is. Again, this is acting as a filter for her ideal client. And what this does is when they come to her page and they see this pinned at the top, they get a quick understanding of exactly who Bridgett is and whether she'd be a good fit for them. This also leads to more follows. When we're talking about putting this About Me and pinning it at the top of your Instagram, it gives the ability to understand exactly who you are quickly and also leads to more follows. All right, next up, as far as the social media content that every agent should be doing right now, is local resource information. So this is where we're going to share information about typically things that are happening in our local market. One of the best that I know at this is Alyssa Curnutt out of Spokane, Washington. What she does is she acts almost like a reporter in her local area. And when she highlights some of these local businesses, she does a couple of things that make these really effective. The first thing is she makes sure that they are a collaborator. In other words, instead of just tagging them, she offers them to be a collaborator. And what it does is if they accept that collaboration, it puts it on their grid, which means it gets exposed out to a wider audience and specifically to all of their followers as well. So this is a great way to create some partnerships, create some ability to really share great information with your local area, and also partner with some of these local businesses. Let's take a look at this one and then I'll give you some feedback.
You're looking for a spot for a night out with friends? Well, there is a newer bar in downtown Spokane, and PSA, you need to run, not walk, because they have espresso martini flights. Lavere is near Riverfront Park and the Nike store. It's a dark, moody bar playing soft jazz music, and there are a couple really unique things about this place.
All right, not sure if you noticed this, but this thing had over 1,500 shares about this local restaurant, and it gives her the opportunity to really expand this out. A couple of reasons why she saw that is that she's sharing very simple information. You notice when she started framing this at the beginning, which is what she does with most of them, it's a simple video, really just a selfie intro that she's doing about the place. Then she voiceovers over some of the B-roll footage she shoots while she's visiting the place. Now the key thing on this, and one of the reasons why I believe she sees so much success with all of these, is the way that she closes these out. So I'm going to show you the call to action right here.
It would be an awesome spot for a romantic date night or a ladies' night out. Share this video with a friend in Spokane who you'd like to grab an espresso martini flight with.
Notice how she made it very timely and she asked for the share. We've talked about how Instagram loves those types of contents that are being shared out because it shows that there's community happening, that there's conversation happening between friends. So when you see this, ask for the share. Now she did this very specifically. She asked you to share this with someone you know that you would like to share this with. So it gives you the ability really to connect. It really gives you the ability to see how she's doing this local type of content that is very valuable, that's highlighting a new place, gives the restaurant some exposure, and also gives her the ability to expand her audience. All right, so when we're talking about local content, it's not just about businesses, it's not just about the lifestyle. Really, one of the most effective things we can do is speak to those people that may be moving to our area. So maybe this is someone that had a job change. Maybe this is someone, in this case, where I'm going to be speaking and showing the example of Holly Darcy, where she's talking a little bit about specifically to military families that got orders to a specific base in her area. So notice what she does here. She's keeping this short to 30 seconds is what the total length of this is. I want you to see the beginning of this and then I'll give you some commentary.
So you got orders to Hurlburt or Eglin? Here's your 30-ish second rundown on where to live. Mary Esther's closest to Hurlburt, quiet, no frills, super convenient. Fort Walton Beach is a little beachy, a little quirky, it's close to everything. Navarre's military friendly, great schools, more space to stretch out. Destin's luxury beach town vibes, you're gonna love being a local.
All right, notice what she did there. She really highlighted a few of the specific communities because the supporting neighborhoods or supporting areas around this base are really diverse. And so what she's doing is she's giving them a quick outline. It's a great way to actually be able to capture the attention of these folks that may be searching on social media for information about that base. Also, what you'll see is when we go to this outro is that she really sums this up in a way that calls for them to reach out to her and specifically have the ability to really make that connection she's looking to do.
And 38 is beachy, bougie, beautiful, definitely a lifestyle choice, but here's the real talk. Don't base your move on a 30-second video. Let's grab coffee or hop on a Zoom and figure out what actually fits your lifestyle, commute, and budget. Welcome.
Notice this. What she did on this is she actually came in and she summarized all of this by saying, hey, listen, don't base all of your move on a 30-second conversation or video that you've seen. What you really want to do is you want to have the opportunity to speak to someone like her who is also a military spouse, who had the same questions they have, and is actually someone that is helping families already understand the best communities for them. This is a great way to really capture those folks before they come into your area. You'll notice on this also, she had 51 shares on this video. Now, you may be thinking, wow, 51 shares, that's not the 1,000 or 1,500 we just saw with what Alyssa did. But what you have to understand is 50 shares like this, odds are this is other military spouses sharing this specifically with those friends of theirs that have gotten orders or maybe thinking they will be getting orders into her local area. Very, very effective piece. So when you're thinking about this, just think about what is it that you can do to talk about the surrounding neighborhoods or surrounding communities to a specific area where a lot of people might be moving into. All right, the next piece of content that I suggest every single agent should be posting right now is coming soon listing information. Now, everybody's going to think about this differently, but I think the worst thing you could do is to go out and just post what you have typically done or a lot of agents do in the past, which is just a picture of the listing and say just listed. We want to stand out. So what is it that you can do creatively to stand out? I will tell you, we're seeing a lot of opportunity right now with carousels for new listings where we have a picture of the listing up front that then swipes to a video walkthrough of the house. That's one way to do this. Another great way is to have it where it tells the story of the house where it flips through on the carousel. But I want to specifically get you to think about doing something different or unique on your own. Now, this is one that Jason Cassity out of San Diego did. Listen, think about your own area. Do your own due diligence because every single area is different. But this was a coming soon listing that probably pushed, I guess you could say, the envelope a little bit, but it had an amazing opportunity for him to represent his clients at the best and highest way possible, as well as generate some opportunities for some buyers. Let's take a look.
Hey, told you, can't show that yet. I'm standing in front of my new listing here in Pacific Beach, but because of clear cooperation, I can't give you the address or the price. Now, what I can do is tell you all about the area. For example, I'm standing right on Thomas Avenue between Jewel and Kendall, just 9 blocks from the beach. And I can't talk about like price and comps or anything because clear cooperation, of course. But if I were to sell a house in this neighborhood, I don't know, I think I'd probably list it between like 2 and 2.25 million.
Again, use your own due diligence when you're thinking about these things, but I will tell you, this was super effective for Jason, helped him represent his his clients to the highest level possible and also really created some buzz. So what is it that you can do to think about doing your just listed posts differently? Yes, it's important that you post about your new listings, but how you do it and how creative you get with those will really be the difference between just having a typical post and having something that does really well. Next up is creative listing videos that will actually showcase properties but also do them in a unique way that captures people's attention. Now, a couple of things here. Again, your creativity is critical, but don't be afraid to model some of the things that you see other agents doing in your local market. I will tell you, one of the best things that I do when we're looking for the types of content that will really pop is I go find certain people like the two that I'm about to show you, and I see what it is they're doing creatively in their market, and then we look to see how does that outperform. So if I pull up and I click the Reels button, actually when I'm looking at the grid on somebody's specific Instagram account, I can see the specific posts that maybe have 5 times the typical response or 10 times the typical response. Typically, those types of videos will do well in your local market as well. So we're going to get to a couple of these. The first off is coming from Marie Boatsman. And what Marie does is she gets super creative. When I was talking to her about this specific post, what she said is that this was an idea that she had with her videographer, and they really executed well on this. Now, this is something you can model. If you have someone that's helping you shoot these things, or if you just want to go in and learn how to do this yourself using something like CapCut or an editing platform like Adobe, whatever it is you're using, it gives you the ability to do this. So let's take a look at what Marie did, and then I'll talk a little bit about it.
Open your eyes.
This dream home checks every box.
All right, what Marie did here is she got really creative with what she was looking at. You notice that it had the music that really played really well with this. You notice that it had some graphics that were a little bit differently. Then it had some personality where it shows her opening the door and welcoming you into the listing. Notice the changes in the pace. Notice the change in the direction of the camera. All of these are subtle things that really can make a difference when you're thinking about this. Also, one of the things you'll notice on here, this thing had over 31,000 shares. What you have to understand is that we are really in the referral-based economy now. So you have to understand when you do creative social media posts, yes, it helps promote the listing. Yes, it helps get you an opportunity to find specific buyers. But what it also can do, and what Marie's seeing this doing for her is that it generates an opportunity for other agents to notice you, and she becomes the agent of choice for those referrals that they may have going out her way in Oregon. So this is a great opportunity for you to think about what she did. You could even model after this one. When we were talking, she said it's so flattering when I see other agents doing these types of posts. Don't be afraid to model after someone else. A lot of times what I like to do is I like to DM them if we're modeling after something and just say, hey, listen, just wanted you to see this post because it was modeled after what you did. Thanks for the inspiration. Again, we're all in this together. And make sure that you're understanding exactly what other creative agents are doing. Model that in your local market and you're absolutely going to get some results. Next up for creative listing videos is, in my opinion, the godfather for listing videos, and that's Brad McCallum. Brad is so creative. He's got a team now that works for him, but he started out, just like all of us, learning how to shoot these videos on him by his own, and then what he did is he implemented by hiring the right people as he went along, and he's playing with house money now as far as because his business has grown through these videos. But what I want you to see when you're looking at this, and Brad's a great follow because all of these are great follows because you can see the creativity they're doing. But what you'll notice with Brad is you'll see subtle things that he does. You'll see positioning of camera. You'll see movement at the beginning. And he intros majority of these videos with a catchy phrase at the beginning that's basically it literally just grabs the attention of people and then he moves immediately into the video. Let's take a look and then I'll give you some feedback.
Hey, want to take a glimpse inside one of Calgary's newest luxury builds that's turning everyone's head?
Again, I wanted to show you this with Brad as much to just get you exposure to him so that you can hopefully go follow him and notice the things that he and his team do. One of the great things that he does is you'll notice there's different angles on this. There's different speeds. He's got great music that flows with this. And then there's unexpected edits to things in the house that really kind of set this thing apart. So notice some of the things that he's doing, model some of these things, follow Brad, and you're definitely going to get some inspiration and apply these in your local market. And I promise you're going to get better results results, you're going to get more follows, and you're going to get more engagement, and ultimately, you're going to get more deals. All right, another example of some of the best new listing types of videos that I've seen is Shane Burgman. He's extremely creative, and one of the things that you'll notice in this specific video is really a strategy that really grabs the attention of the ideal buyer. So if you have a home, for instance, that has a specific feature that you know is probably going to be the feature that sells the home to a specific buyer, lead with that. So let's take a look at what Shane did with this one, and then I'll give you some commentary.
Guarantee you've never seen a man cave like this one.
By far, this is one of my most favorite rooms in this property. On game day, you can't figure out which game you want to play, you have your own personal Jumbotron above. And of course, if you want to highlight your favorite team, you have the massive theater screen against the wall there. It's a dream bar setup.
All right, it doesn't take long when you first see this video to see that probably the person who's going to really buy this house is going to be someone who loves that man cave. It is the highlight of this home, so he leads with the most impressive thing about this house to the ideal person who's probably going to buy the house. Now, I will tell you, later on in the video, he shows the rest of the house. He does everything to give all the details, but he hooks them right out of the gate with that information. So what is it you can do if you have a specific listing, or you're doing a video on highlighting a listing of someone else where you're highlighting the highest and best and most impressive thing about that house right out of the gate? It captures the attention, it gives you the ability to hook them in to see the rest of this, and it gives you the ability to connect in a different way. Shane is a great example of this type of content where you're taking a new listing and you're highlighting that and you're getting better results. All right, next up is what I believe is the best opportunity we have right now, which is sharing the story of successes. As we continue to see days on market extend out longer than they had been, as we continue to see expired listings go up, and an understanding that the agents that maybe have their house that is getting ready to expire are starting to look around and find out who the next agent they might want, this is a perfect example of what to do in these situations. Now, what we're doing is we're taking a just sold home, and it doesn't have to be just sold, but it's something that you've had a sale and you've had success on, and we're sharing that story. The whole key is that we're wanting to grab the attention of the ideal person to see this video, and we're also wanting to give them an idea of seeing themselves in the process that happened for this sale, so that they can see themselves and see the targeted agent, or you, as the agent of choice going forward. This is Colby Anderson, and what he did is he had a record sale in a specific neighborhood. We're seeing the days on market extend in that neighborhood. So what he did at the beginning of this is he actually used what we've heard a lot of people call the dog whistle marketing, where he's calling out the ideal viewer for this video. So let's take a look, and then I'll give you some feedback.
Wondering what it took to get a record sales price in this market environment? Here's a story. A friend put me in touch with the seller whose main priority was to get top dollar for their home. All
right, so what he did there is he's calling out the ideal person. He says, if you're someone who's wondering what it takes to get a record price in this market environment, this is for you. Grabs the attention of that ideal person right out of the gate. Then he goes through and he starts telling the process of what happened. He starts and just walks it right on through. He talks about the marketing, which we didn't show in that. He talks about the price, the strategic price improvement that they did. He talks about the open house, the follow-up, the social media content that got over 75,000 views. He really goes through and talks about exactly what it was that he did to get this record price. And now, the key on all of this, though, is to have a strong call to action at the end. Again, we've talked about the idea that Instagram really loves the shares, and this is what helps get more views and more opportunity for this to get more exposure. Watch what he did right here, and then I'll give you the final commentary on this.
At Anderson Group 30A, we're not just in the business of listing homes, we're in the business of getting them sold. If you know someone looking to sell their home, share this video with them today.
All right, so what you notice there is he called for the share, and he called specifically for the share for someone, if you know of someone that has a home they'd like to sell. This is a great way to have people that know of friends that maybe have had a house that's been sitting a little longer, or they're considering selling, sharing this information with them. This is a powerful way for you to position yourself as the agent who's getting results in a difficult or challenging market. So this is the type of video that definitely, if you're sharing these, you can do this in a way that you're gonna get some results. Now, a couple things here. That was the way way that he did this. I'm going to show you another example of this that was done a lot easier for you to be able to do. It was actually done simply with a green screen video with a backdrop. This is Lynley, Ciorobea, who is out of Miami, and this is what she did. She actually started with a hook that really plays to what a lot of people are wondering about. They all go to Zillow, and we can all agree that Zillow has a Zestimate that is typically wrong. So what we want to do is she's playing off of this. Let's take a look at the intro, and then I'll give you some details.
Our client sold their house for almost $700,000 more than Zillow said it was worth. 35% more. And there are 6 things that happened that I'm going to tell you about. And number 6 is my favorite.
Now what Lynley did here is she set the stage for capturing the attention of those people that maybe are considering selling, or maybe that have their house for sale now that are thinking it's about to expire and getting ready to choose their next agent. Now she mentioned that she goes through 6 different things. What she did in this is she actually goes through and she talks about the marketing that she did, the results she got from the marketing, the open house she did. She talks about some of the things she did to grab the attention and follow up with those people that actually saw the house. She then goes in and reads the review that she got from the seller on this, as well as, because she was on both sides, what the buyer said about her as well. And then what she did, which is really interesting and something that you can really model after this, is she really did a call to action where she asked the people to share this and also to let her know if she can help in any way. The biggest thing you have to understand about this is when Lynley recorded this, this was a sale that had happened almost a year previous. So don't feel like it's just got to be on something you recently sold. The person who's watching this and hearing the story of this sale, they really don't care whether it was yesterday or before. What they really care about is being able to connect and see themselves in your process that gets results. So don't hesitate to utilize this even if you haven't had a sale in a little while. Share the stories of those successful sales you've had in the past and you're going to get some results. You see, when it comes to social media, really, it's not just about posting, it's about posting the right things. These are 5 different types of posts and 10 examples that you can utilize to get your creative juices flowing and get the type of results you're looking for. I hope this has been helpful, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. I specifically chose the video below for you because it builds on the one you just watched. I hope it's helpful, and I'll talk to you soon.